Alright, let's talk about friction. You know that feeling when you try to push a heavy box across the floor and it just doesn't budge? That's friction in action. But what actually is it? Friction is a force, but not just any force. It's the force that resists movement between two surfaces that are touching. Imagine rubbing your hands together. You feel heat, right? That's friction converting your effort into warmth. Let's keep it simple. Whenever two things touch, even if they look smooth to the naked eye, zoom in close and they're actually covered in tiny bumps and ridges. When you try to slide one over the other, those little rough spots snag on each other, slowing you down. That's why it's easier to slide on ice than on concrete. Ice is way smoother. Now there are two main types of friction, static and kinetic. Static friction stops things from starting to move. Kinetic friction kicks in once things are already moving. Think of static friction as that stubborn force keeping your sofa in place when you try to push it. The moment it starts moving, kinetic friction takes over. It's a bit weaker, so it's actually easier to keep it going once it's started. But friction isn't always a nuisance. Without it, walking would be impossible. Your shoes wouldn't grip the ground, and you'd just slide about like a cartoon character on a banana peel. Tires on a car, they rely on friction to keep you safely on the road. On the flip side, friction is why machines wear out over time and why we need lubricants like oil in engines. Oil smooths out the surface, reducing friction so things run better and last longer. But here's something cool, friction also creates heat. That's why rubbing sticks together can start a fire. The energy you put in gets turned into warmth. It's a bit like magic, but it's just physics. So how do we measure friction? Scientists talk about something called the coefficient of friction. Sounds fancy, but it's just a number that tells you how grippy two surfaces are. The higher the number, the more friction. Rubber on tarmac has a high coefficient, super grippy. Ice on ice, super low. That's why you can slide across a frozen pond without much effort. To sum up, friction is the invisible force that keeps our world running smoothly. Or sometimes not so smoothly. It's the reason you can walk, cars can drive, and why your trainers eventually get holes in them. Simple, but absolutely essential. So next time you slide, slip, or stop, remember, that's friction quietly working behind the scenes.